time for our 8:30 High Beam, and we are privileged to be joined by the Sheriff of Tuscarawas County, Orvis Campbell, making his way in today. Orvis, good morning. Thanks for being here.
Good morning, Brad. Always good to be here. Thank you.
We didn't even pre-discuss anything that we wanted to talk about today, but there's always something to talk about. I know we did mention to one another that, and this still may be relevant this weekend, beware when you're driving of high water, because that is a dangerous situation, and we've had quite a few people get caught up in that.
Right. Yeah. Last year, we even had a death related to high water. So far, this year, fortunately, we have not. But, we had 9 motorists stranded in this last rainstorm with all the flooding. Several of the cars had to be abandoned there and are totaled, and the individuals were rescued. So, it's an unpopular thing. It's quite an inconvenience to come up to high water and then maybe find out you have to turn and go a few miles to get redirected. But boy, I'll tell you what, when you've been on a case where someone's car gets swept away and had to fish a body out of the water, believe me, if you were there, it's definitely not worth the risk.
Yeah, or a family member for sure. So,
absolutely. And it could be an expensive one. I know that I posted a couple days ago about, sending some deputies up to patrol there, and normally, we don't try to be citation heavy, but that's so dangerous that, we told the guys go up there, and if you find somebody ignoring the high water signs, cite them. And that can be up to a $2,000 fine, so it's quite expensive.
You don't want that.
No, it's not a good thing. And we don't want to issue it, truthfully.
Well,
so,
that's true.
Hopefully with us being up there it scared a few people away from trying it. So.
Well, we don't necessarily talk about all arrests and that sort of thing either, but I did think maybe we could get an update on the 911 system, because I know that's being revamped and renewed. So Where are we there?
Well, the 911 system is already up and running. We're replacing some computers. It won't mean anything different to the caller, just some updated computers. The radio system, which is what a lot of people refer to as the 911 system. There's really a phone system that is the 911 system, and the radio system. We're with the state agency called Marks. We signed a contract with them for 10 years, and so our local first responders have interoperability throughout the whole state. You can drive to Cincinnati and still talk on a radio. You can have communication everywhere. Where that comes in really handy is when fire departments, say on the borders of counties, have a big fire, and then they've got agencies from both counties going. They can all communicate now. There's somewhere in the low 70s of the number of counties in Ohio that are on this radio system, and I guess I was just told a couple of weeks ago, it's now the largest radio system in the nation.
Wow.
So, it's like every radio system. We had a private one before. It had flaws. This one's got a few flaws, but it's working very well. And not to recap this, but one of the decisions aside from interoperability is over that 10 years, it was going to save the county about $5 million. And that really had to do with the buying power of this giant radio system. For example, one portion of the equipment that we needed was $500,000, and Marks could get it for $40,000. So
a little different,
right? And then you spread over what we used to pay was called maintenance fees. We had to maintain the radio system ourselves.
Oh yeah,
and that was hundreds of thousands of years. Now we use what's called user fees. But over 10 years, like I say, it's about a $5 million savings. So,
and there really wasn't any kind of learning curve. It's just extra towers and better equipment.
Extra towers, better equipment. The learning curve was we went from an analog system to a digital system. And if you've ever done that, even with phones, when you first go on, it's really creepy because you think you lost the person on the other side because the dead air is so quiet. The other thing is, with an analog system, when you were in the outstretches of where the radios would work, you would get a little bit of static. With a digital system, it either works or it's done.
Right.
And I tell you what, it's been a great system overall, and I think that it was definitely an improvement. I know that like a few years ago, we were asked to work a presidential rally in another county, and we were the only county at that time when we showed up that our radios wouldn't work with everybody else. Yeah. But they had some extra ones for our guys because we sent a small team to just help that sheriff's office. But now that wouldn't be the case. There's about 100 tactical channels programmed in, and we would just assign it to a channel. We all have them and ready to go.
Very good. Hey, the last time you were here, you were about ready to have the jail inspected, and I teased you about your white gloves, but You could have worn the white gloves. You did as well as you can do. Is that right?
That's exactly right. I like to joke. I don't know if there's a better jail in Ohio, but I can assure you this year that there's not a jail in Ohio that scored any better. We scored 100%. I'm told it's the two things were new. One, there's 176 standards we're graded on, and they're divided in between what's called essential and important standards. The name tells you about all you need to know. Mm-hmm. And usually they only do a small portion because these jail inspections are very voluminous. Well, because of some issues throughout the state, Governor DeWine gave some additional money to the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation Corrections. They have a division called BAD, Bureau of Adult Detention.
Is that a good acronym?
Well, it's probably fitting, but I don't know if it's good. But the Bureau of Adult Detention was beefed up a little bit, and the governor then ordered for the first time ever, and I've been into business 30 years now, but first time ever, a full inspection on all 176 standards. Wow. So, and I will tell you that in our first inspection of that magnitude, we got a 100%, and that is very rare. I don't know for sure if another sheriff's office has it. I can tell you that there's a neighboring sheriff that had 80 citations. There's another one that had 40. There's another one that had, a couple of dozen. So I'm pretty proud of our guys, and things like that. Now, some of those things we got a little bit of help. Our jail count was down just a little bit for that day, ironically, actually a couple days. And that helped us because if you're overpopulation, that's a citation. Yeah. That really, really is rare. We're almost always, overpopulated.
Yeah. So. Well, we hate that, but then again, we're glad about that too.
Yeah, so. And I know that it already was in the media, but the staff, over a period of months, they come up with a system. It was led by the jail administrator. His name is Ken Engstrom. And Ken's mastery was dividing it up, getting every supervisor intimately involved with a section where they were responsible for, starting it months and months early and going over every policy, going over the supporting documentation, changing procedures to better fit and what was required, and it was a great job.
Well, that's a good idea too. And it serves the county and the inmates better as well as it does you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when people think of a jail, we were talking a little bit beforehand. Lots of people have opinions on what a jail should be. Some people want bread and water. Some people think it's too hard. Right. We just want it to be consistent and fair and within the law. So, for example, inmates have to get time for exercise, but there are no weight sets or anything like that in a jail. In fact, in Ohio, weights are illegal in a facility like that. But their health is important, and we try to keep our personal opinions out of it and just try to run a professional setting so that, if we've got someone who's been arrested 25 times or if we've got a public official's kid, we can be proud on how the jail's being run. And that's one of the things that we try not to listen to too many people's opinions and really just try to do what's right.
Right, and hopefully the politics stays out of it, which it pretty much has. What else is going on? Is there anything else that we should be aware of this time of the year or right now in particular? I know I won't lead you anywhere. Just wondering.
Actually, we are expecting a big pickup. The COVID numbers are down. The weather's just now starting to give signs of a break. I think I could tell you that I'm 49 years old and I have never felt the urge to get outside more than I have now. I just feel like I've been cooped up. I feel like I've been...
Orvis has cabin fever.
Yes, this is the worst case of cabin fever, and I have to believe a lot of people are going to feel the same way. So I think as the weather breaks, I think we're going to find a lot of activity, and I think that means our call volume is going to go way up, but, that's what we're here for, and hopefully we can do that. With calls, it's been very garden variety lately. I mean, we've had... the burglaries and some car break-ins and different things like that. Some thefts, our guys have done a really good job. We've solved a great number of cases lately, and they're not anything landmark, but, a $1,500 item stolen from your driveway doesn't sound like it's big news unless it's your driveway and your $1,500
right.
item. So we try to treat every call like that, but we've had some good work from guys and things like that. I'll tell you what, though, we took a little bit of a beating from, crashes this year. I mean, even deputies, we had deer crashes, which are just about unavoidable. Sometimes the deer actually runs into the side of you and things like that. So I'm looking forward to the weather break to stop having cars getting crashed up.
The block of ice we had for 3 weeks is finally gone. So I hope we don't build another one before we go back. So.
I agree. I don't think we had a single crash that was caused by ice, but it's just been a rough situation. We recently had little fender benders here and there that I think it just seems like it's hit us more than usual. So we want to stop that.
Well, I want to thank you for the work. Thank the deputies, if you will, for everything that they are doing for us. And how about you come back again here in a little while and we'll talk some more.
You just give me a date and I'll be here.
Okay. Hey, thanks so much.
Thanks, Brent.
That's Orvis Campbell, Tuscarawas County Sheriff, this morning on our 8:30 High Beam here.